Good morning, one and all. Myself, Dr. Somashekhar I, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Business Administration, Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering, Mysore, Karnataka, India. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Institute for organizing a 22nd International Conference on Sustainable Development 2025, which is a very opt topic where every country is focusing towards sustainable development, and they are digging that how best with what dimensions we can enhance the sustainable development of the country with respect to economy and with respect to the global growth. So today we are planning to, we are coming up with our own article named with the competency mapping in small businesses, a pathway to sustainable development and employee satisfaction. I am presenting this paper along with my co-authors, Dr. Hema Patil from Visvesvaraya, Department of Management Studies, Visvesvaraya Technological University, Mysore, Karnataka, India. Also, Dr. Harris, Department of Business Administration, Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering, Mysuru, Karnataka, India. And Dr. P.S.C. Balaji Rao, Department of Business Administration, Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering, Mysore, Karnataka. So here, with respect to this particular, the sustainable development, let me give the introduction of the topic, what we had taken. So introduction with respect to small businesses, because in our topic, it is purely focusing on the small businesses, how they are working with the employees, in what conditions the employees are working in the small businesses, and what type of the competency factors has to focus by the small businesses so that they can keep their employees more satisfied, because unless until employees satisfied, the works cannot be happen in the organizations. So organizations cannot grow. So organizations cannot sustain. So, and that is indirectly affecting the country sustainable development. So in that way, when we take about the small scale businesses compared to the big businesses, so the big businesses like the medium and the large organizations, where we can find the competency factors are playing very well, because they are investing the huge amount in the business, and they are providing the infrastructure, and they are hiring the employees, and they're providing all the HR policies related the facilities to the employees. But when it comes to small businesses, they face a unique set of challenges because they require effective talent management to ensure both employee satisfaction and sustainable development. Because in the small businesses, again, depending upon the business turnover, the business transactions, and the market share they're having, and the competition and the challenges in the industry and in the environment, according to that, it is very difficult for them to focus more on the employees' certain skills, certain competencies, but yet, if they want to focus on sustainable development, if they want to sustain in the industry, in the challenge, then they have to focus on that, how best I can keep my employees more satisfied. And for that, they had to focus on assessing which competency factors, which can need to be identified, and focus on where my employees are happy with those, or if they need some support, that has to be evaluated. In that way, competency mapping, which is nowadays emerging as a strategic tool that helps organizations align employee skills with business objectives, leading to enhanced productivity, retention, and job satisfaction. So majority in the industry, the core competencies focused like personality, communication, leadership, managerial skills, and technical skills, which were nowadays focused more by the organizations. In that way, most of small businesses in particular, they often operate with limited sources and requires a highly adaptable workforce that can handle the multiple responsibilities. If they have the employees, if they have who can manage all these, then definitely there'll be scope for growth for the organizations. Let's see what is this competency mapping. So competency mapping, it is the human resources process of identifying, defining, and documenting the specific skills, knowledge, abilities, and behaviors that employees need to be successful in a given job role or to achieve the organization goals. So in that way, so every organization is focusing on what actually the skills we to identify, what are the skills or the knowledge or the abilities or the behaviors we to focus. So that way we can map those and we can help the employees to be more satisfied. In that way, so competency mapping is one method which creates a framework linking the employees' capabilities with business objectives, helping the organizations to manage the talent through recruitment, performance, training, and career development by identifying the skill gaps and strengths in their organizations. So with respect to a literature review was done where the most of the articles were identifying and focusing on many of the skills, but majority of them, when we take the around some 35 research articles were taken for the study, which were focusing and highlighting on these particular key skills which were taken for the study. So among those, personality skills, communication skills, behavioral skills, leadership skills, managerial skills, technical and aptitude skills, strategic and creativity skills. When you talk about the personality skills, so which is every organizations, they focus on that. So what personality skills my employees are having? Do they have openness? Do they have consciousness? Do they have emotional stability? Or do they have right personality fit that can lead to improve my customer relations, and also high performing employee, higher employee morale has to be managed. When that way coming to the communication skills, so organizations always expects that the employee should have ability to convey the information effectively, because we know that the grapevine communication or with the ineffective communications always leads to the challenges. As they are small businesses, so there will be less scope, but they are more cautious about the communication skills, because if unless the communication was properly used and conveyed the informations from higher level to the lower level, the employees, so then it will be more fruitful. Otherwise, it's a big challenge. So whether employees are having those particular conveying effectively the abilities or not. Behavioral skills, yes. Every organization wants that their employees should have behavioral skills with respect to adaptability. Whether they should have managed the stress, they should have the interpersonal skills. Do they have emotional intelligence? Do they have conflict resolution strategy ideas? So that way, because in the organizations, normally the challenges will be there. It all depends upon how employees behaves, how they focus. When it comes to small businesses, yes, there'll be variations will be there with respect to the behavior, depending upon the type of the employees, based on the age, based on the experience, based on technical knowledge they're having. But yet, behavior of person, definitely it maintains a quorum in the environment. Next, coming to leadership skills, which demands the decision-making skills, motivation, strategic vision, which are a little bit more the higher end strategic part. So the companies in the small businesses, do they focus on these skills from their employees, and how much they're expecting? Because manager skills, managers, yes, they should have a problem solving skills. They should know how to allocate the resources. They should have decision making skills. So these skills are helping the organization's indirect growth and grab the opportunities in the industry. Similarly, coming to the strategic technical aptitude skills, they expect that employees should have technology, the knowledge with respect to the technology which the companies are adopting and practicing in their organizations. Because these specialized knowledge help the companies to take the work more efficiently. Productivity can be enhanced, and even support the employees with respect to with respect to adopting the new technologies which were practiced by the competitors, which help the companies to be ahead in the industry. And even the strategic creativity skills, if you take, so most of the organizations, they expect their employees should be more strategic and they should be more creative skills. They should have creative skills with respect to innovation, which can support the business development. So that way, so all these particular, the factors, okay, the skill set of factors which were observed in the literature review and taken under study, how best this competency mapping factors, okay, can ultimately support and can influence the employee satisfaction. Because as we said, the competency mapping, it helps to create the framework which helps to identify and define what are the things, what are the skill sets, okay, should be required, should be mentioned, and should be observed, so that they can take the best of best from their employees. In that way, so need of the study at this hour is explore the impact of competency mapping factors on employee satisfaction in the small businesses. So specifically, as a small business were taken as a target group. Okay, so here this is a conceptual model we developed, and where we specifically limited to these skills like personality skills, communication skills, behavioral skills, leadership skills, managerial skills, technical skills, and strategic skills. So among these, okay, how these are influencing or impacting the employee satisfaction? Do they have any relationship? Are they varying among the different employees age group? Are they varying with respect to the experience group? Okay. And also, do they have any impact on the employee satisfaction? Then, which are the factors, competency mapping factors, are impacting and which are not impacting? If they are impacting, then what is the benefit for the company? If they're not impacting, then how best company has to relook on these identified competency mapping factors. So this will help organizations to re-evaluate, introspect their particular the strategies they are using to manage their employees. So with respect to this, the certain research objectives were prepared and taken for the study, considered in the study. First one is to study the factors of competency mapping and employee satisfaction in the small business manufacturing companies, which were finalized with the help of the literature and in the conceptual model. And then another objective was taken to study the variation among different demographic group of employees towards the competency map factors and employee satisfaction, because different age groups, different work experience. So that way, so definitely the employees with a different demographic group, as they are working together, definitely it varies. If it is not varying, it is good for a company. If it is varying, then company has to come with a proper strategy. Then to study the relationship between the competency mapping factors and employee satisfaction, because ultimately, so which factors are connecting with the employee satisfaction factor? If they are associating, if they are finding a relationship, yes, good. What is the degree of relationship? Do they have significant positively, negatively relationship? So this will help the companies to assess that how best they can bring the strategies with respect to the based on the outcome of these correlation analysis or the relationship strategies. The next one is to analyze the impact of competency mapping factors on the employee satisfaction in the selected small business manufacturing companies. So hypothesis will develop like three null hypotheses where there is no variation among the different demographic groups. There is no relationship between the competency mapping factors and employee satisfaction. And there is no impact of competency mapping factors on the employee satisfaction. The research methodology was taken where it decides that how the structured study was carried out. Research design, where it was taken with the descriptive research design, which helps us to clearly cross-sectional identify the what is the nature and characters of the industry, and which was represented by the employees, that is 140 respondents we taken who are representing the industry. That's what descriptive research design was carried. And then sampling design. Under sampling design, so who are the participants, how they are selected, how scientifically and systematically they were involved in the study. So that way, here our sampling unit is employees of small-scale manufacturing companies which were taken in the Mysore. And while picking those sampling units, the sampling method was carried like probability sampling among the industries. Okay, we find 7 different small manufacturing companies based on the probability sampling. And again, under that, we found 20 members each, which is, we can say like non-proportionate way. We decided and we taken the 20 members each, where total 140 employees were selected in Mysore, Karnataka. The data collection with respect to the secondary data and primary data is second data. We taken the companies, the websites, companies references, the magazines from CI, Wiki boards, and the primary data with the structured questionnaire with the 5-part Likert scale were used for collecting the behaviors of the response of the respondents. The statistical tools used here, the liability analysis, ANOVA, correlation, and multiple regression using the Excel and SPSS software, the data analysis were carried out. With the data analysis interpretation, if we come, so reliability analysis, the first one's carried, which is tell to that, okay, whether my data is reliable for further analysis, whether they were properly understood by the respondents and they answered well. So in that way, the reliability analysis, which is depending upon the results are depending upon the Cronbach alpha value, which is a statistical tool, which demands that if it is 0.7 above, then data is more reliable and strongly reliable. In our study, with respect to the 51 items, the scale items were taken, so they are showing around 0.971 as the Cronbach alpha, which is ensuring that his data is highly reliable and can be used for further statistical analysis. Then with respect to the next type of first type of this, that is with respect to the variation. So we taken the study here with respect to variation. The results were in front of you, where the ANOVA with respect to the years of experience employees groups. So different experience groups categorized, and for them the ANOVA test was conducted, where it is showing with respect to different skill sets which were taken as independent factors here. You can see the significance here with respect to only one, that is the communication skill is significant, which is less than 0.05, whereas the others, all others are more than 0.05, which are not significant. So that shows that, so only with respect to communication skills, there is a variation among the different work experience employees group, but with respect to the remaining, there is no significant difference among the different work experience group with respect to personality skills, behavioral skills, leadership skills, manager skills. technical and aptitude skills, strategic and creativity skills, and employee satisfaction. So another in the demographic we taken with respect to age group. So how the different age group people are, do they experience the same, or do they view in a different? So again, we found that personality skills and communication skills, the first two, which were showing less than 0.05, showing significant difference between the different age group of the employees among these 140 employees, who are representing the entire Mysore industry. So of the small businesses, it is found personality skills and communication skills are varying. Whereas behavioral skills, leadership skills, managerial skills, technical and aptitude skills, strategic and creative skills, and employee satisfaction are no variation. Then coming to the next hypothesis, we're taken to study the relationship between the employee satisfaction and the all the competency mapping factors. Interestingly, it is found that you can see the last row here, what I'm showing here. So here, employee satisfaction, which is having significant relationship with the personality skills and also with the communication skills, and then with the strategic and creativity skills. Whereas it is showing no relationship with respect to behavioral skills, leadership skills, managerial skills, technical and aptitude skills, so which are showing more than 0.05. And even with the correlation, you can see that the personality and communication skills, personality skills having a strong positive correlation around 61.6%, whereas with the employee satisfaction with the communication skills around 35.2% of moderate, we can say the lower relationship we can see. Whereas with respect to the strategic and creativity skills also is showing around 0.7%. Okay, there's 7% of the strategic and creativity skills have relationship, and that way we can find that there is the relationship between the employee satisfaction with the for three factors of competency factors, and remaining were no relationships were found. With respect to multiple regression analysis, yes, there is no impact of competency mapping factors on the employee satisfaction. So here, as per the outcomes, so we can find the three outcomes. One is model summary, ANOVA table regression, and third one is the beta coefficient, that is with the regression coefficients. So model summary is purely ensuring that, so with the R-square values, that is 0.455, which ensure that around 45.5% of, there's the influence of the independent variables on the dependent variable, that is the employee satisfaction. That means employee satisfaction was explained by the independent variables around 45.5%. Whereas with the ANOVA table, which is telling about the second table 06, it is telling with the whether the model is fit or not, means whether significant impact is happening or not. It's a predictive model. So it is ensuring with the model fit, we can see that the significance value is less than 0.05, ensuring that our model is fit. And yes, there is an influence. It is found that there is an influence of the independent factors on the dependent, that is the employee satisfaction. Where the third one, among those, which factors are influencing, which are not influencing? So in that way, if we take, we can see that here, the unstandardized beta quotient values, you can see that. So constant is significant and personality skill is significant. And whereas the last one, strategic and creativity skill is significant, and communication skills. As per the correlation analysis, as we found the same way, it is the same three are influencing this particular employee satisfaction. And the predictive model was developed here, the regression model with respect to the employee satisfaction. You can see that there's the model with the values like 2.407 and 0.713 with respect to personality. Means here beta quotient is 0.713 and personality with respect to personality, and 0.180 with the as a beta quotient with the respect to the communication, and the minus 0.301 with the strategy and creativity. So that way we can see that, as we can observe that as personality skills and communication skills, as they are growing. So similarly, the companies has to focus on, there's a negative impact of the strategic and creativity skills, which is around 0.3%. That is 0.30 means around 30% they should focus. The impact is there where they should more seriously observe on this particular part. Let's discuss this with respect to findings and discussions. The annual result shows that communication skill is the only skill significantly linked to employee satisfaction. That means employees who communicate well tend to be more satisfied with their jobs. Whereas the annual results with respect to the personality skills and communication skills, which is varying significantly across the different age groups, which is affecting how employees feel about their jobs. When it comes to correlation, as we observed, so personality skills, communication skills, and management skills, they have significant positive correlation with the employee satisfaction. This means that employees with better personality traits, communication abilities, and managerial skills, they tend to be more satisfied with their jobs. So these findings align with the previous research, emphasizing that strong interpersonal skills and effective management, they are crucial for improving the job satisfaction and creating a positive work environment. In contrast, very interestingly, behavioral skills, leadership skills, and technical and aptitude skills, they do not significantly impact the employee satisfaction. In this particular analysis, what we found, because this may vary from sample group to sample group. But in the present study, what we got that this might suggest that in the context of small businesses, personal interactions and managerial effectiveness, they are more critical for employee satisfaction than specific behavioral, leadership, or technical skills. And also literature also supporting this by noting that in smaller organizations where employees often have closer relationships and more direct interaction with the managers, personal and communication skills plays a very significant role in the organizations. With this multiple regression, we've seen that personality skills and communication skills, they have significant positive effect on employee satisfaction. High levels of these skills are strongly associated with the greater job satisfaction. This aligns with research indicating that employees who excel in interpersonal skills and effective communication are generally more satisfied with their work. So strong personality traits can improve the workplace relationships and morale, while effective communication fosters a more supportive and collaborative environment. On the other hand, we found that behavioral skills, leadership skills, managerial skills, technical and aptitude skills do not significantly impact the employee satisfaction in the study. This suggests that in small businesses, the immediate interpersonal and communication aspects of work might be more influential for job satisfaction than specific behavioral, leadership, and technical skills. Literature supports that by highlighting that in smaller organizations, because the scenario of the smaller organizations is totally different compared to the big organizations. That's what in the smaller organizations where employees often work closely with each other and managers, the impact of person communication skills are more pronounced. And interestingly, strategic and creativity skills has a significant negative effect on employee satisfaction. This suggests that while strategic and creative abilities are valuable, they might also introduce complexities or stress that negatively affect the job satisfaction. So this aligns with the studies showing that high demands for strategic and creative thinking without adequate support can lead to increased stress and lower satisfaction. In that way, we can come with the suggestions that based on the experts' interactions and with the HR managers, they suggested that in our study. So companies has to small business should focus on enhancing the communication skills training. They should focus on personal development of the employees. They should tailor the training for different age groups as it's varying. And also, they should reevaluate the strategic and creativity skills because ultimately, by putting more pressure in the small business, the employees, the different age group, different age education background, okay, they may not be too much. That's why they are working in small businesses. Then we companies cannot expect more strategic and creative skills, and they had to relook on while forcing or considering those. And also monitor and assess the competency impact regularly, because this regular evaluation helps the companies to see that which one is focusing, which is not focusing. In that way, so with the present practical industry, okay, you can see that it can contribute, our study can contribute with respect to small and medium enterprises, HR strategies can be developed. We can focus on more on sustainability. And with this policy, we can support for competency-based HR practices, because now we can find that which are influencing, which are not influencing, which are supporting, not supporting, as this gives just a glimpse which can support the relook on the role by the small organizations. And the research can be expands with respect to the more focus based on the more focused literature, and also future scope is it can be applicable to the wider industries and cross-regional studies. So finally, you can conclude that competency mapping in small businesses play a crucial role in enhancing the employee satisfaction and fostering the sustainable development. By identifying and prioritizing competencies such as communication skills and personality skills, which significantly impact the job satisfaction, businesses can tailor their training programs to meet these needs and improve the work environment. Effective communication, strong personality traits not only boost employee morale, but also contribute to a positive organization culture. While strategic and creative skills, which are more valuable for any organization, they should be managed carefully to avoid the potential negative effects on satisfaction. Overall, aligning competency development with employee needs and business goals ensures that small businesses can achieve Greater employee satisfaction drives sustainable growth and maintain a competitive edge in the market. So these are the references for your reference, and thank you for the listening and your valuable time. Thank you, one and all.